Hello YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics to another video, and today is going to be a review of Winner Takes All, a book I finished reading recently and I thought, I'd give it a read. So if you want to see, of course just see me straight away, just go review it and not showcase it, then at the time they can just skip ahead really, just skip ahead in the video. I may put the time of the screen at the bottom, so you just skip to there. If you have if you have or haven't skipped, let's begin the video. So the cover, we have the Ninth Doctor there, and Rose, and we have the BBC Books logo there, and of course we've got a nice sort of blue wood, wood with a blue sort of colour on it, and of course on top of that sort of Gallifreyan some symbols. The bottom Doctor Who logo there, of course the Powell Estate, I think. A bit of a bland sort of choice, but it's okay. Winner Takes All there by Jacqueline Rayner. It is slightly tattied up there, but there is the spine. So again, the Gallifrey piece at the far left, Winner Takes All, Doctor Who logo, Jacqueline Rayner, and BBC Books logos there. There's a bio, which I'll read in a minute. The Doctor Who logo, featuring Dr. Moses, played by Christopher Eccleston, and Willie Piper in the hit series from BBC Television, and of course Marco Bear, and of course in colour. And the series, I have been busy reading this. The amount of pages is approximately, well it is, but 245 pages long. So that's it. So that is showcasing Winner Takes All. Let's go straight into the review. So basically, I'm going to split the review into 3 segments. The first segment is going to talk about the story, what I think about the story, and of course, all that business. And the second section is going to be about the characters and characterization, and also the monsters as well. And the third section is going to be the conclusion, so my rating of the story and just the final sort of conclusion to conclude the video. So let's get into a review of Winner Takes All. So I might as well read the bio first of all to kick it off. So let's read it. Rose and the Doctor return to present-day Earth and become intrigued by the latest craze, the video game Death to Mantodians. Is it as harmless as it seems? And why are so many local people going on holiday and never returning? Meanwhile, in another world, an alien war is raging. The Quivils need to find the new means of attacking the ruthless Mantodians, searching the galaxy for cunning, warlike, but gullible allies. They find the ideal soldiers on Earth. Will Rose be able to save her family and friends from the alien threat, and can the Doctor play the game to the end and win? So yeah, that's the bio of the story. So I think the story is a very interesting idea. It's got an interesting concept about, of course, a deadly video game, and it's just got some very nice elements to it, and I think it worked very well in this. I haven't seen many reviews on this one. I've seen a few people say it's a good one and a very good book, so I don't know if it's a very praised one. I should actually check. Yeah, I've seen a few people say that this is a good book and it has some very good things. And I slightly think that this sort of inspired We Are the Daleks, the Big Finish audio, about, of course, the deadly video game. I mean, We Are the Daleks has got a deadly video game sort of in there. And The Nightmare Fair as well, as the Celestial Toymaker has the Doctor play a deadly video game. So that's sort of like deathly, sort of like real-life deadly video game elements been used quite a lot in Doctor Who, and I think it works quite well. I don't think it gets tiring, that element. I think you can always use it because it depends what the game is. Like, that's the best thing. It's an element, like a plot, sort of like a plot mover, like moves the plot really. That's the great plot, a great element that moves the plot forward, and a deadly video game. And of course, it adds, of course, detail about people going on holiday and never returning. Basically, the video game Death to Mantodians, if you win it or do well in it, it's not just the video game, but you can also buy these tickets, and these tickets, if you win have the right ticket and win you've got the right ticket, something like a lottery really. If you got the right ticket, then you get to go on holiday, and of course, according to the bio, a lot of people go on holiday and they never return. So the story is very good. It's got some very nice elements to it. The monsters are very interesting. They're described very cartoony. The monsters are very cartoony. Like, they start off very cartoony, and I should leave this into later, but it starts off quite cartoony, and then they move on to be very deadly, they sort of rage a lot, these monsters in this book, which I like that element of. It's got some nice moments in it as well. The story itself is very good. The pacing is very, very good as well. As soon as the book starts, it gets straight away into the action. It's just got it's got a very good pace. So it's got a good pace to it. The plot's very good. It's got some interesting twists as well. There's a few small little twists, but they're quite effective on the story. So I think that it's so far it's a very good start off. And of course, 245 pages is quite good. I read this in 2 weeks because I don't really read a lot in the book, but now I'm probably reading reading stuff like I started reading the White Darkness Virgin book, and I'm very enjoying that one. But I don't really read a lot from books. I tend to take a lot of breaks through reading books. I don't know why. I just do. But yeah, back to this the book. It's got some other great interesting things as well. There's some interesting, like I said, some interesting twists, character twists as well, which I'll go more into detail in the character section. So it's got a very good story, very strong story, very strong pace to it, and it's got a very good thing. And Jacqueline Rayner is a very praised writer. She's done a lot of classics to her name, like The Marian Conspiracy. She did the adaptation, the novel adaptation of Love and War. So she's got a lot of classics to her name. So she's a very well loved and received writer. So that is the story part of the video, and I know I sort of covered it very short and snappy, but I think the story's very strong. It's got some great twists in it, some great pacing to it, and I think, I will say before I end off this section, it lost the plot. It lost the plot sometimes, and the plot did change, and then of course there's then subplots as well. So yeah, the plot mainly fell a bit and just sort of went down a bit in enjoyment, mainly when the subplots are being introduced. So that's a small negative. Like, it lost the plot when subplots were being introduced, and that can be understandable, but sometimes it just got a bit repetitive. So that's section 1, the story. Let's move on to section 2. Characters, characterizations, and monsters. So the characters are very good in this, but I want to talk about specifically 2 characters, and that's the Doctor and somebody called Darren Pye, who is sort of like somebody who really hates Rose, and also starts working, helping the Mantorians. So I want to talk about these 2 characters specifically. Not that I'm not going to talk about any other characters, I'll talk about a few others as well. So the Doctor in this is brilliant. The Doctor's portrayed his usual Ninth Doctor, sort of silly, comedic sort of self. And he's very good, he's very comedic, fun, witty. He's got a lot of fun dialogue. It's like the Second Doctor. He's portrayed like the Second Doctor in this, especially Power of the Daleks. The Ninth Doctor in this reminds me of the Second Doctor in the Power of the Daleks. Like, in Power of the Daleks, you've got this comedic self. When the Daleks, Daleks are mentioned, and then things going sort of haywire with Daleks, he gets very shouty. He loses the comedic and comedy thing, and that's just great. The characterization of the Ninth Doctor is incredible in this. He's very comedic, witty, but then when the Equivals, and it's all that business with people getting taken and forced to play the game, he just gets shouty, especially when he's forced to play the game for somebody. In a bit where the Doctor, Rose and Mickey are trapped in the Equiville base at one point in the book, the Doctor sort of plays and controls somebody who's stuck, who's currently in real life playing the game, and the Doctor's sort of controlling the person, and he actually ends up having the person killed, and he just loses it. He shouts, he screams, he really is angry. You can hear the point getting across, and that's just great characterization for the Doctor. That it just reminds me a lot like, probably a lot like the Fifth Doctor as well. After maybe in Frontios, where the Fifth Doctor like shouts a lot just to get his point across. In Frontios, he's sort of like that in this. So that's the character. So that's the character of the Ninth Doctor. Let's move on to the character of Darren Pye. Darren Pye, he's very sly, manipulative. He's very. I guess you say he's full of animosity towards the Doctor and Rose. Like, he's very full of it. And in the end, he ends up being forced to play the game himself. He ends up being in the game and killed. I think. I can't remember. It's been ages since I've finished. Okay. So yeah, so Darren Pye in this is he's quite annoying at times. That could be a negative. He can be a little bit annoying, but not completely annoying. But yeah, he's a lot of animosity. He calls the Doctor a freak. Yeah, so there's a lot of animosity building between him and the Doctor, so that's again pretty good characterization. Yeah, Darren Pye starts off being just somebody sort of like a bully, but then he just turns into like a traitor, somebody just like desperate for power. You know, somebody like that. He just turns into a complete megalomaniac, and I think that's very effective. So yeah, and the animosity between the two, the Doctor, and this is what I love about this. When the Doctor's with Darren Pye and he's talking to him, he stays the clown, he stays the witty, his dialogue's witty, his dialogue's clever, it's funny, which is so like the second Doctor. It just has that effect. It's just brilliant. The scenes, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of scenes. There's a lot of scenes in this that has the Doctor and Darren Pye talking to each other, and the Doctor's he just doesn't care what he has to say. He just stays as witty and funny self. So that's a great thing in that. It's got very funny and great interactions between the two. So let's move on to the monsters, the Quevils and the Mantodians. I like how at the end of the Mantodians, the Mantodians are portrayed in quite the end later in the book, like as very, because we only see them like virtually at the very end, because Rose is in the game, like literally in the game, and the Doctor's like controlling her, but of course she gets stuck in the Mantodian stronghold, and when the Mantodians find her, like she's like trying to just calm her, like talk her way out, keep calm, and the Mantodians are just like, they sound very, very nice, like when they're not in threat. They sound like very, just like kind monsters, sort of like the Silurians, but you know, not as, of course, not as brilliant as the Silurians, because the Silurians are just absolutely brilliant. But they have that sort of style of being quite nice and calm to other people, but have that sort of animosity and anger and hatred to some others, like especially like the Mantodians towards the Quevils and the Quevils towards the Mantodians. So it's got some interesting stuff going on there. Yeah, but the Mantodians, we only see them in literally the last few moments of the book. So that's interesting. So it's got some other good things in it as well about that. But the Quevils, they are the main monsters in this. They're very angry. They're very corrupt. And they're quite violent as well. Very, very violent. Well, the thing about this one, it's quite a violent book. It's sort of like a Virgin book. It's sort of like a slightly toned down Virgin book, because it's dark, it's graphic, it's got the comedy in it, but it's got that violent and graphic elements in it. Because one of the characters, Robert, he gets his hand stuck with porcupines. He gets his hand stuck with porcupines, and that's what they are really. They're just hedgehogs really. That's what the Quevils are, the giant hedgehogs. Yeah, he gets his hand stuck full of porcupines, and it's just described so graphic in it. So yeah, but they're very violent and graphic monsters, so they're very effective. So this sort of could be a Virgin book, but I guess you could say this could be this is a toned down Virgin book. Yeah, so they can be very violent. They shout. They can manipulate the situation, and that's similar with Darren Pike, because they're both characters, like especially Frinell. I think that's it. Yeah, Frinell. He's in charge. He's the leader, Frinell, and he's very manipulative, and that's what a lot of them are. A lot of them, a lot of the enemies like Darren Pike and Frinell are very manipulative towards each other. They manipulate the situation, especially Frinell. He manipulates the situation, so the Doctor plays the game. So that's very interesting there as well. So that's really an interesting bit though with the character, especially Frinell, because he manipulates the situation. He's very threatening. He's violent. He's very dark. So I really like that sort of style in this. So that's the enemy sort of side of thing, the monsters, and I guess you could say we could look about another thing which I just thought of as well, which is the subplots. The subplots. Actually, no, forget that. Let's make a section, sort of section 4 before the section 3 before the conclusion, and that's going to be the positives and the negatives. So let's talk about the positives. The positives, there are a lot of positives with this book. It's got good pace, it's got a very clever story, monsters are great, the characters and the characterization's great, it's very good, it's got the characterization's great, and so the characters. It's a strong element, and the twists are very strong as well, but it still has the negatives. Mainly the plots and the subplots. The subplots sort of take away chances of more exploration in the story, so that's sort of one of my negatives with it. Another negative is some of the characters are really annoying. Like there's the group of people that are trapped in the same room where Robert is in, with the other people who are about to be forced to be inside, like directly in the game. A lot of them are annoying, a lot of them crying, shouting, screaming. It's just, it starts off very good, but then it just gets so annoying and really irritating. It really agitates you, that sort of thing. So yeah, it has some annoying characters in it. Darren Pike can be annoying as well. He can get a really annoying side to him. There's also the action of the story. It doesn't have a lot of action. It has some good actors. Sometimes it has good action, but I think more action would have suited the story a lot better. I would have also liked the Quevils to do a lot more, to be more productive as well. That's also sort of a negative. Not major. All these negatives aren't major. They don't have a massive impact, in my opinion, on the story or on the book. Also, I would have liked the Mantonians to appear a little bit more. They did appear a lot, but the main big spot I was at the end of the book. But I would have liked to. I would have liked to have seen a lot more in the book. Maybe they'll return again. Maybe there might be a sequel to Winner Takes All. Who knows? But yeah, I doubt that. So let's move on to the conclusion. So the conclusion. What do I rate this? I rate this a 9 out of 10. It's a great book. I really recommend it. I'll probably be getting it in hardback. So some great characters, the story is very clever, and that element that moves the plot about Deadly Game, it can be used so much, and it can never get old because the game can always be different, and that's a great sort of style you can use. And I think Jacqueline Reynaud utilised this strategy very well in this book. So yeah, a 9 out of 10 for this. Great characters. Definitely, of course, cannot be. It is a classic in my opinion, but I'm not rating it a classic because, again, it has its faults. Everything. I think the new series Adventures. I think a lot of their books have faults, like all of them do, really. But I need to. I just find it. And I just find it odd that there won't be a book that stands out. And I think this book does stand out. But there are two others that are standing out to me as well. Them being Nightmare of Black Island and The Stealers of Dreams. Both of them by two very good writers. Nightmare of Black Island by Mike Tucker and Stealers of Dreams by Steve Lyons. Two very good writers and very praised. So, 9 out of 10 for this. The story is great, pacing is great, the characters are great, the monsters are great. What more could you want from a Doctor Who book? Everything's virtually great about this. Again, it's going to have nitpicks and there's going to be a few people who don't like it. I do recommend this to classic lovers, because I'm a classic lover, but I want to start liking the new series a lot more. I want to like it, but if you just like classic, and you may give the new series a chance. I think this one can really get it. You can really just see that you can give this a chance. That's what you should do with this. So thank you very much for watching my book review of Winner Takes All. I'll see you in the next video, which will be, instead of originally a DVD review of Curse of Fenric, because I haven't got much time left, it will be an updated collection, Doctor Who collection from DVDs and books from Big Finish. So I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.